If you're injured on the job due to someone else causing the accident, you could potentially have two separate cases that may work in tandem with each other. Here to talk about getting the maximum benefit from both cases is Catherine Stone from Injury Florida Law Firm. What's up, Catherine? How are you?
Good. How are you?
So this is a little interesting, and I'm assuming it's a situation that you've seen. How common is this?
It's pretty common, actually. I would say I probably have a handful to more than that cases that I actually represent the person for both cases. There's even some where, you know, they may have a different attorney for the personal injury, and then the personal injury attorney will refer me the workers' comp case. But I have quite a few cases where I represent the person for two different claims arising out of the same accident. Those can be, you know, you're having lunch with someone and you slip and fall in a restaurant due to negligence of the owner of the restaurant. You could be involved in an auto accident while you're going to and from on behalf of your work. So there's just multiple different ways in which if someone else caused your work-related accident, aside from your employer, it can't be your employer, it can't be a coworker, we ultimately will have two different claims. They operate differently, but they also work together in the sense of the personal workers' comp is primary insurance. So it's very important to understand that you can seek your medical treatment and get your medical care through the work comp system as long as it's reasonable and medically necessary and arises out of the accident. But then when you have your personal injury part of the case, you utilize the medical that has been spent and done in the workers' comp case to help support the damages for your personal injury case. Now, the catch is the personal injury case, if you settle that with whoever was at fault, workers' comp gets to be paid back for a portion of what they spent.
Okay.
And there's a formula that we utilize. It's called the Manfredo formula. Depending on how much you receive from the personal injury case determines how much you actually have to pay back out of that PI settlement back to workers' comp. Wow. And if you don't pay workers' comp back 100%, they can actually, once we do the calculation, you come up with a percentage that then your future benefits can be actually reduced under workers' comp. So it's very important, and I always tell people, especially if I'm not representing them for their personal injury case, make sure your personal injury attorney contacts me before they negotiate anything with workers' comp if you still have an open work comp claim. Because if you agree to a percentage of reduction, that's going to affect the future for your workers' comp case.
Which is why you have to know.
Which is why I have to know what's going on. And I get very frustrated when I find out later that they've agreed to, you know, some really high percentage just to get the case done, and I'm just like, please don't do that. So that's why I like having both cases where I can monitor them both, because they do work together but separately. Because personal injury can compensate you for pain and suffering, which workers' comp does not compensate you for. So in comp, you're going to get your lost wages and you're going to get your medical care. In the PI side, you're going to get your pain and suffering, any underpayment because you don't get paid your full wages in comp, so any underpayment with that, and in potentially any medical that we may have to go outside of workers' comp to get.
I'm curious, have you ever had a client come to you and say, okay, I've got this workers' compensation case, and then you're like, yeah, but also you have a personal injury? I'm assuming you've got to see that, because a lot of people probably don't know they can have both.
All the time. Or, I mean, I'm in heavy litigation with a case right now where the gentleman came to me for an auto accident case, and immediately I was like, well, this is also a work comp case. So we're in heavy litigation with the comp carrier over that claim right now, but it happens all of the time where maybe they had a prior attorney who didn't identify it, and that's what happened in this particular case. And so that's why it's very important to make sure you have all the facts and that you pursue both claims.
Well, I think it's always important, too, to get answers from you, have someone like yourself on their side. If you have any questions, Catherine will be more than happy to answer. You can get in touch with her in multiple different ways, including the phone number and website you see right there on your screen. Catherine, we always enjoy when you're here. Thank you for helping talk about this topic as well.